The Jacob Media Sports Network, in partnership with 97.3 ESPN, brings you the Mays and Eytan Show.
Middays with Harry Mays and Eytan Shander.
Now, it's the Midday Show with Harry Mays and Eytan Shander on 97.3 ESPN Radio.
And we are live on a snowy Tuesday where it's brutally cold outside. First time I feel like all summer to now fall to officially winter. Is today officially winter?
No, it's not. It's still fall. We have
it's 35 and
we have
snowy.
Another month or more of technical fall to go. But yeah, it looks like and feels like winter. I feel like I'm in Green Bay today.
Yes.
And actually, I think tomorrow it might even be a little colder.
Is it really going to get colder?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cold tomorrow too.
Well, I left my stuff in the car last night, and it's frozen.
What stuff?
Well, not that stuff. That stuff doesn't freeze. It gets wet, though. I did leave something out in the rain, and I heard the rain this morning.
Well, there's been a Gatorade bottle that's like 3/4 full that's been in your driveway for the last 2 weeks.
You never know.
I keep telling you about it. Like, what are you doing?
You never know, man, when you're just out there doing yard work or something and you need a quick swig.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you never know. At some point, might be swig happy.
Jeez.
That's all I'm saying, man.
I had Josh dig up some Tessitore gems from last night. I went to bed in the second quarter, and I just can't take Tessitore anymore. It never used to be the case for me where I would allow the broadcaster, whoever it might be, to interfere with my enjoyment of a football game. Right. But I've reached my limit with the Monday Night Crew, and most notably Tessitore.
I won't let you slander
Not so much Booger.
Well, you can't give me an example. Like, Booger's not a bad broad. He's just guilty by association.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Booger's not a bad dude. He's pretty good broadcaster.
Well, he talks a little too much, but he's okay. I'm all right with him.
See, I disagree. I think he's in and out. Look, Collinsworth, he spins you. Some of these guys will sit there and just talk to you. Booger at least is just trying to give you some information.
Well, he tries to give you too much information. His words per minute off the chart.
I don't think you've been watching too much Booger, man. I think you watched Booger in the first week of the season, and he was all nervous. And since then, you've put that whole view on him. But anyway,
I just can't take it. I'd like to get people's thoughts.
is probably the reason why.
On the Monday Night Crew, Tessitore, in particular, we're gonna play a little some of the cuts from some of the stuff I missed last night.
Well, what would you have missed?
Apparently, I missed a lot of turnovers. And they're calling this classic game, which you predicted would be an absolute instant classic. And I'm wondering, I know it was a competitive game and it went to overtime, and that's great. It came down to kicks, which I don't like, and there was a lot of turnovers. So that's really not my type of football game.
Well, defense played well on both ends.
Yeah, okay. All right. I mean, Seattle had a bunch of short fields last night. I really don't know what to make of that win. Because when you got 20 and 16 yards to go to score a touchdown, that's not really all that difficult.
Yeah, if you're causing turnovers, now you're minimizing the impact of turnovers?
I'm just saying, I'm trying to look at this as what to think of this Seattle offense that's going to be coming in here in 2 weeks, a little over a week, and they're going to be coming in off a bye as well, as the Patriots are this week.
Yeah.
So the Eagles draw 2 straight bye teams, which makes these games a little tougher.
Well, I don't know if Seattle it made it any tougher or less for me. You knew that Seattle, on a matchup standpoint, is a nightmare in certain regards.
Just because of the quarterback.
And the wide receivers.
Well, yeah, Lockett. They kept Lockett in check last night.
Yeah, well, the Niners have much better quarterbacks than the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, I know. I'm just saying, I'm dreading Lockett down the middle of the field. I mean,
and that's my point, though, is that despite Lockett held in check for the most part with San Francisco, that doesn't give me any hope that the Philadelphia Eagles guys can do that.
No, it doesn't. I'm just saying they won the game even with Lockett really doing next to nothing.
Well, that tight
because
end.
They had short fields. Yeah, their tight end did a nice job. I mean, Seattle did a great job in checking Breida. He did nothing all night. Of course, Kittle was out. So they lose Emmanuel Sanders early in the game.
Yep, that hurt.
So San Francisco was really shorthanded. I mean, Garoppolo, I don't really know what to make of him yet, but he really had one arm tied behind his back in that game for most of it.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is you knew going into it you didn't have Kittle, so that offense was going to be major limited, which it was. Mm-hmm. Granted, that wasn't something they were able to get over. but I thought that there was going to be more opportunity. And he had a couple of looks, but I thought that it was going to be a heavy Deebo Samuel game because the Niners really didn't have much choice but to go downfield. But Seattle's defense, man, that's one thing that they hadn't been able to do really well is check the quarterback consistently throughout the game.
Yeah, they're 5-0 on the road.
Yeah, and that's so.
And three of those are in the Eastern time zone too. So anybody that wants to say, "Oh well, the West team coming," remember how that used to be a thing? Like if you were playing a West Coast team in the 1 o'clock time frame on the East Coast, people used to say
Hawaii.
It was this distinct advantage. I don't think it's really much of an advantage anymore. I think home field in particular is an advantage, but the time zone thing, unless you're going to London on like a day's notice, I really don't think it matters too much to these guys anymore.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But 5-0 on the road.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn impressive.
It is, and I think that's probably one huge sign that your team is legit. So that, again, whatever happens in that division, it's already locked up where there's a wild card spot that's going to come from there. And Seattle winning last night probably solidifies that more.
Yeah, it'll be Seattle or San Francisco. Those two teams are going to the playoffs.
Yeah, well, both of them are.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And then you have to look at and say, well, even if you thought anything regardless of the Philadelphia Eagles, but now it's crazy because you've got the Vikings who have slid into this spot as well.
And they have a tiebreaker over the Eagles.
They do have the tiebreaker over the Eagles.
Card, aspirations.
And with Carolina losing, the Rams losing.
Really, I think what you have to start rooting for, if you're keeping wild card in mind and in play for the Eagles, is you need Minnesota to overtake Green Bay.
Right.
Because you have the tiebreaker over Green Bay if you end up with the same record based on head-to-head win. You don't with Minnesota.
Right.
Then we have to start kind of maybe secretly rooting for the Vikings here to win that division.
Well, that's what I was saying as far as maybe – I don't know if that's possible. See, for me, I think the easiest way for the NFC North is through Green Bay. Does Minnesota knock off Green Bay? Detroit and Chicago are now out. So how much can you rely on Minnesota to overtake Green Bay? Now you're talking about Kirk Cousins playing in some pretty big games.
Yeah, he played in a big game on Sunday night. He won on the road, which has not happened much. He doesn't typically beat teams that are good.
Right.
He did.
No, I get it. But I also don't know if outside of winning this division, there's any hope at all for the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's slim. I agree with you. The main way to get in is to overtake Dallas, which I think is, on the table. I think you got to win. You got to split with these next two teams. You got to win one of these games.
Yeah.
You lose both of them. You're really hoping Dallas takes a bunch of L's. Then you're sort of relying on other teams. And I don't like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I get it. And I think that's going to be frustrating for a lot of people when they see this team lose one of two. But we've also been talking about this, and here's the thing. It doesn't get easy for the Eagles yet. People have been saying, well, the second half, the stretch, you start to look at this schedule.
Not until after Seattle.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. There's two more games before things really get easy.
Against playoff teams and possible Super Bowl teams.
Yes. This is a possible Super Bowl matchup, Seahawks and Patriots. And you've got those two teams back to back.
Yeah.
Let's get through the next 2 weeks before people start. And again, we felt guilty of this, so I'm not saying it's not everybody. But let's look at the next 2 weeks. It could change, okay? Dallas, whatever they do. Let's look at the Eagles because I cannot react to anything that anybody does outside of Philadelphia until I see the next two games done by the Philadelphia Eagles.
So you're talking about the Vikings and them to catch Green Bay. They're one game behind. They have Green Bay at home the second to last week of the season. It looks like a Monday night game.
Right.
That's in Minnesota. They finish up against the Bears at home, too. They have at the Chargers, which really, that'll probably be loaded with Vikings fans during the cold weather, people going out to L.A., wearing their purple and sculling it up in L.A., so that'll be a home game, right? They have the Lions, very winnable game at home. Now, they do go to Seattle. So the Vikings have a pretty favorable schedule the rest of the way. I could see them catching Green Bay.
Again, I think the biggest misconception we have is what Kirk Cousins is going to be able to do. Like, that's what we're relying on right now.
Well, he'll get Thielen back at some point, too. He did this without Thielen.
They were full, and they were losing games. I just don't know, man. I don't know if Minnesota is a team that you want to hitch a wagon to.
Well, they beat the Eagles, man. So
everybody beat 5 teams. You know, listen, the
Eagles beat the Packers. So if I'm going to sit here and fantasize about wild cards, it's got to be against the Packers, right?
The Eagles beat the Packers on a last-second drive where Aaron Rodgers made a mistake.
A win's a win.
Okay, all right. A win is a win if you're talking about the record and the standings. But if you're going to give me guff about why the Minnesota Vikings are a legit team, or you're buying their stock.
They're a legit team because they have a good defense and they've got
they're a wild card team.
And they got Dalvin Cook.
Wild card team, I'll give you that.
All right.
But I can't give you that they're a division-winning team with Green Bay yet.
Did you know that Halle Berry is filming her directorial debut in Atlantic City?
No.
Halle Berry is in Atlantic City.
I didn't know that at all. Where?
I don't know. This is what we need. We need our boots on the ground.
We don't have any boots on the ground.
Yeah, we do. Josh Hennig is our boots on the ground, isn't he?
He's barely listening to the show.
He represents this show in the Egg Harbor Township, Atlantic City environs, right?
I would say that I'm more so confined to my cave each day than I am boots on the ground, though.
Yeah, but but he's also our movie guy too. So I think that if anybody can find where Halle Berry is doing this, it's Josh Hennig, and we can get her on the show. What do you think?
I
okay,
think
now you're reaching.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't think anybody here is getting Halle Berry.
You think I have the contact to get Halle Berry on the show?
Well, maybe I overestimated you.
What's the movie? Do you know?
It's called Bruised.
I'm out. I can tell you that already.
What do you mean you're out?
Halle Berry, Bruised?
Yeah.
I'm out on the movie.
I'm not on her being bruised. I'm out on that. You're not into Holly. What are you doing, by the way?
Responding.
But why are you responding? We're doing a frickin' radio show.
Halle Berry? I was waiting for Josh. You were asking about the Halle Berry movie.
Well, you know, right. Josh, he blanks out on us.
Halle Berry, what's the name of the movie?
Here, I'm pulling up the information right now.
Okay, that's what I thought you had it here. Let me see if I can find the IMDb.
It started
Jackie
already.
Justice.
Jackie, yes. It's an MMA movie, so yeah. Josh will be into this movie.
Why? Because it's MMA
yes.
and it's a movie?
Well, that's very typical.
I mean, come on.
Because it's a movie?
That's right in his wheelhouse.
What am I, the man in the box? You're just putting me in a box?
Yes.
By the way, so the movie is being filmed at HQ2 nightclub.
Where is that?
Now what is that?
Ocean Resort.
Oh, okay. So it's in the Ocean Casino Resort. Oh, yes. It's nice. I've been to that sports book. What's the HQ2 like?
I would describe it as pretty much like almost every club that's in Borgata.
Is that where Gil goes to hang out after his MMA?
No, Gil goes to Villain and Saint at Ocean.
Oh, okay.
So it's at Ocean.
It's in Ocean.
The initial filming is in Ocean.
So she's probably staying at the Ocean Casino.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out, like, why would it be only it's MMA? So does she work at the? Okay, I'll read it. All right, Jackie Justice, a disgraced MMA fighter who has failed at the one thing she's ever been good at, fighting. When 6-year-old Manny, the son she walked out years ago, returns to her doorstep.
Not Mosh.
Jackie has to conquer her own demons, face one of the fiercest rising stars of the MMA world, and ultimately fight to become the mother this kid deserves.
So yes, they will be filming at Boardwalk Hall also next week.
Okay, so that's where I was trying to figure out. They wouldn't be fighting at Ocean; they'd be fighting at Boardwalk Hall.
So also, I just
right?
found that the people who are running the stunts and the directors who are involved in the choreography are the same people from the movie John Wick.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Josh is big on the John Wick franchise.
I love John Wick. John Wick's great.
I mean.
So she's actually the star. She's directing and she's starring and she's the MMA fighter.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm
you don't
up
like
for
this.
I'm interested in talking to Halle Berry. Now, if we
got
her.
She's 53 years old.
That's not that old.
And she looks like she's in her 30s.
I don't know, man. This movie, though, doesn't sound that appealing, does it?
I just think it's appealing that it's, being shot.
In AC?
Being shot, yeah.
So I wonder how much of it, like, how much of this movie is she and her son Manny in a hotel? Or does she live like down the street from Ocean?
Well, it's like any movie. You know, the way the movies work is you shoot for like a week at one spot, you shoot for another week at another spot, and then you compile all the best cuts from every week of shooting, and that's how you make a movie. It's like anything. Yeah, you got sometimes you got to reshoot a scene multiple times. Might not get it right on the first shot.
See, and I know
No, I'm not saying reshoot is. Okay, so you think that this is like a small part of the movie that she's at Ocean? They're also at Boardwalk Hall.
I'm saying it's a small part. I'm just saying that when you're shooting a movie, you might need to stay in a location for a while.
Yeah, in a trailer.
Yes, okay, I understand that. So it better be a huge scene. That's all I'm saying. So it's either like a really expensive scene or it's like a lot of the movie itself.
Well, the Boardwalk Hall scene is obviously the fight.
Yeah,
So,
who knows how many fights they have? Maybe they redress the scene. I don't know.
Well,
Do we have any odds on this
double
fight?
back after one edit, you know?
What's that?
They might have to double back after an edit. There's numerous movies now. What they do is after they go into the post-production process, they go back to the original location and reshoot a scene if it didn't go right.
Oh.
Well, all I'm saying, reshooting scenes or not, we need to get Holly Berry on the show.
Not after
That'd
this
be great.
segment. You should air check it to her and see if she'd still come on.
I'm sure she appreciated the football. She'd appreciate the football discussion.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea, man. At this point, if I could sit through, how long is this movie expected to be?
Who knows?
I can't get anything else, like as far as who's in the movie.
All I know is the Irishman is coming out very soon, and that's a long one, from what I know. It's a typical Scorsese. It's like 3 hours long.
Man, I'm telling you, 2 hours into that, you'll be itching your seat.
No, see, that's different because whenever I watched like Godfather, Goodfellas was long. The Casino was really long.
Yeah,
that
but
was
how
even
long
longer.
ago did you watch that?
I mean, I've seen them recently. Whenever they're on, I watch them.
They're never on. Casino is never on TV.
Yeah,
Come
it
on.
is.
When? TNT? What channels
I'm
are
just
on?
looking like the
Showtime?
AMC, these crazy movie networks. I've seen it.
What channel does Casino come
I
on?
don't remember.
I guarantee you.
I don't remember.
There's no.
I've watched that movie 100 times.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
I don't doubt it.
3.5 hours.
Right.
If I'm entertained, I'm into it.
Okay, but I'm telling you, these new movies, you're going to be disappointed.
You think they stink?
I think. Well, no, I just think that you're going to walk in expecting Casino, and you're going to get slots.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. If I walk in there expecting Goodfellas, I'm going to be disappointed.
Okay, well that's
Yeah.
fair. At least you know going into
Yeah.
it not to. But I
It's
think
not going to beat any of that.
No, I think that there are going to be a lot of people that will expect that. I think people are going to go into this Martin Scorsese sucker and think to themselves, you know,
This is about
it's
the
time.
guy who apparently killed Hoffa.
Right.
He was a house painter in Delaware County, down like Upper Darby.
Is that the only reason why you want to see it?
No, but
okay.
I don't even know if they shot the thing around here. I don't think they even did.
Were they at Ocean?
No, they were at Ocean. Yeah. Now, all right. I want to get your concerns about this bye week. Do you know what Bill Belichick is off the bye?
I imagine it is. I don't know the numbers, but I would bet he's like 80%.
14-5.
What's the percentage of that?
I don't know, but it's pretty darn good.
Yep.
All right, 14-5. Dougie P in a small sample's 1-2. Pete Carroll's actually 6-3. I went back and looked at them every freaking year he coached.
I
in
bet
Seattle.
he's pretty
He's
good.
6-3 at Seattle. I didn't go back to his New England days. I didn't
Belichick
care.
is the big one right now. I mean, let's get through New England first. The fact that he's coming off the bye, they lose their first game of the season, and they lost in not embarrassing, but they lost in pretty bad fashion.
Oh, to Baltimore.
Right.
You're saying. Yeah.
There's
yeah.
a lot right now
Oh yeah.
that is working against the Philadelphia Eagles.
No
Now,
doubt about it.
the best thing for the Birds is that they have momentum, and that's big. I mean, they are no longer a tailspin. They are no longer just spinning as they go down fast.
No, they righted the ship with wins in Buffalo and then against Chicago. But I don't know, how much momentum do you lose by the bye week? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think if anything, it might. Huh.
You know,
I think the bye week is like a vehicle. It's not a destination, meaning it doesn't impact it. Like if you lose before the bye week, it makes you feel that much worse. If you win before the bye week, it makes you feel that much better.
Like Belichick has never faced Carson Wentz before.
Yes, but he has faced mobile quarterbacks And
no, I know, but I'm just saying, like, he doesn't really have film on Carson against his own team.
Against his own team, no.
His own team.
So I wonder, though, it's not like there isn't anything out on Carson. I mean,
No,
he's got
but I mean, he's
plenty.
got an extra week to really dig in to find Carson's weaknesses.
That's probably the worst thing.
And figure like, hey, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to take Zach Ertz off the field. That's probably what he's going to try to do first, right? Minimize
and
the
limit
run and take Zach Ertz away,
and I
then
think
see if Carson can beat you.
Well, yeah, but beat you how? Because I think that's the biggest thing is
with minimal receiving talent
or not running. Like that's what they did the best. But that's the problem with what's his name, Lamar Jackson, is that they tried to minimize Lamar running. Like they do a good job of limiting guys from moving around and forcing them to make throws. But Lamar Jackson is so damn good with his feet, it's just impossible. So I would imagine that they would try to limit Carson Wentz's feet as much as they possibly can and force him to be uncomfortable in that pocket.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the slow starts for the Eagles. Domowitch did a nice job with with this stuff and the inside the Eagles newsletter.
Okay.
We used to get this from Zach Berman, early birds, when Zach Berman was with the Inquirer. But now Domowitch, and they actually spread it around. All the guys that cover the team do different ones.
Okay.
But he talks about the Patriots have trailed in just one game at halftime this season, and that was the loss to the Ravens. In the other 8 wins, they've outscored their opponents in the first 2 quarters 140-31.
Are you serious?
Now, they've been up against some bad teams, but 140-31
I'm telling
in the first half.
That is the worst recipe possible for this year. So the best thing you could do is get the football, and you don't need to get it on the very first, but on your first. You've got to get points on the board.
Yeah.
And that falls on the scripters, the writers of this big copy.
And
everything.
Doug's had 2 weeks to prepare it, too.
Hey,
right?
2 weeks to write a script. All right, this is Costanza and Seinfeld sitting around doing nothing before their meeting with NBC.
They failed to score on at least one of their first 2 possessions just once this season. So they failed to score on at least one of their first 2 just once, and that was against the Ravens, too.
Wow. That is something, man. When you look at how easy it's been for the New England Patriots to do something that the Philadelphia Eagles just can't do, how difficult will it be? The Eagles have been able to take advantage of a lot of momentum shifts that we see and been a really good adjusting second-half team, okay? Mm-hmm. But when you're going up against Belichick, you don't want to give him a 13-point lead and then try to adjust to that.
Well, it was like the defense made the changing play in Buffalo with the turnover.
Right.
Was it Brandon Graham,
yes.
if I remember correctly?
Yes, it was.
In the first half. That changed the game.
No, I get it. I get it. That was like something for, honestly, if they didn't have that, momentum would have just kept going back and forth. It's not like the Eagles would have lost that football game, but yeah, that changed momentum and swung it so fast back to the Eagles side that it didn't leave. 609-403-0973 on the text board here. Let's see. Casino was just on the other night. I forget which channel it was, but I believe it was on one of the movie channels like HBO or Showtime. All right.
Yeah.
Screen cap it for me.
It's on.
No way.
Yeah.
Casino's not on as much as you make it out to be. The other ones
are. I
are.
say it's on every week, but I say it's on a lot, and every time I catch it, I've always watched some of it.
Some of it. Now we're
Well, hedging. I mean, I might catch it halfway through, and then I'll
you sit and
to
watch
the end.
Okay, but I'm telling you, there's a better. That's like sleeping through the first half of when the Eagles couldn't do squat with Chip Kelly and saying, "Hey, listen, I watched the game.
I was there at his final game.
That's something to be proud of.
Saturday night against the Redskins. Tuesday afternoon, he was gone.
Is that when
the Redskins won that game?
The Redskins won that game. Is that when Lurie came out and questioned the whole thing? No, that was before the power struggle. That was the year before that.
Yeah.
Okay, now I got it right.
Yeah.
Now I got my Chip stuff right. I'm just saying I don't believe you guys.
Well, the last time the Eagles
I don't believe you two
played the Patriots, you don't ever believe anything. I don't even care what you think.
Well, I'm just saying, if you show me this Casino, I never see Casino. I have the guide right here.
You have one of these Joker cord-cutting deals. I've had a zillion channels.
So what are you telling me? It's on Plex?
Yes.